let's talk about putting on the skates. Now, for some people, it's better to sit down and try to put them on, or sit on a bench or something that you can sit on. But as you start progressing with your skating, you'll start realizing the more that you get good at balancing and putting on your skates standing up, that's just going to help you more with your balance. It really will. So I'm going to show you how I put my skates on, and then I'm going to show you a couple ways that you can do it as well. Now, first, what I do is normally I keep my skates kind of tied up, pretty tight, as if my feet were going to be in them. So no matter what, when I take my skates out, or when I put my skates on, they're already tight. Now, if you're a beginner, the best way to put your skates on would be to sit down, or get one on and then maybe sit down and get the other one as well. I'm going to show you a couple ways to do it. I'm going to show you the first one, standing up and putting your skates on. Now, once I've got them unlaced and unbuckled, ready for my foot to go inside, I'm going to stand up and put all my weight on the opposite foot, and I'm going to go ahead and put my skate down the ground and put all my weight into the foot, okay? Once it feels tight enough to be in there, go ahead and tighten my laces first. Get them nice and tight. Okay, and then after that, I'm going to go ahead and put the buckle inside, putting the long part inside the teeth on the side. I'm going to put them in about a little ways just to kind of get them in there started. There is a plastic piece where the cuff is at. What I do is try to make sure the cuff is, the cuff plastic is underneath the teeth part of the cuff. So there's two plastic pieces on this particular model of a skate. So what I do is try to make sure that's underneath it, so when I clamp it, it's not gonna be on top and interfere it. So I got that on pretty good. It feels pretty good, pretty stationary, not too bad. Now, this is for when you start getting more comfortable with skating. You're able to stand up and put your skates on. Now the next one, what I'm gonna do is make sure that I have this one ready to go. Now I'm gonna take all my weight from my left foot and put all that weight onto my right foot now as I get ready to put the skate on. I can either put it down on the ground first and kind of use all my weight to kind of balance here, and put my foot inside the skate as well. And now I have both of my skates on while I'm standing up. Now, mind you that I'm on a mat that is not moving that much. This is a resonated mat that is perfect for being stagnant, not moving, okay? Now that I have my skates both on the feet as I'm still standing up, now I don't have to worry about trying to stand up. So this is more of an advanced technique for when you start feeling really comfortable on your skates. And then I'm gonna show you another way to do it for beginners. So as you are tightening up the skates, same exact thing. I'm keeping all my weight centered down, my knees are bent, I'm not moving my weight back and forth, I'm keeping all my weight pushing down so I'm not gonna move. That's why it's a great way to do this if you do it somewhere where you're not rolling, okay? So now I have both of my skates on, they feel comfortable, I can move them a little bit, they're not too tight, they're not too loose, and they feel good, and I'm already standing up ready to go. Now that is for the students that are ready to be able to work on that. If your balance is really good, this is a good way to practice. Now I'm gonna show you how to stand up and take your skates off, okay? So the first one, bending down over, I am keeping my weight still kind of centered on my skates as I loosen one, and I get that one up. Now I'm taking all my weight and putting it on the opposite foot and pushing this skate off, and I'm putting all my weight down on the opposite foot. Same exact thing with the opposite skate. Taking that off, and now I can push it off. Now I can put all my weight on this foot since I don't have my skate on. Okay, so a good thing to do, if you can practice standing up and putting your skates on, that's just going to make you that much more confidence in your balance when you have skates on, period. Okay, now for beginners, right, if this is the first time you've ever put skates on, the best way to do it is for you to sit down onto your bottom. Okay, make sure your skates are loose and ready to put on. Now I'm going to take my left skate, I'm going to go ahead and put that in and hold the back of the liner of the tongue and kind of push my foot in, all the way snugged in. Putting your sock up a little bit, your pants leg, and make sure that the foot is in there. Sometimes you can kind of bang it on the ground and make sure it's in there good, and go ahead and tighten them up on the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten my laces, cuff the buckle, make sure it's nice and tight. Now, a good way to know if your skate is too tight or too loose, what I do is a 2-finger rule, right? I'm putting my finger about about 2 fingers should be the width between the tongue and my shin. So if it's really hard for me to get my fingers right there, then that means that maybe it'd be too tight. So I try to make it a comfortable fit. I want to be able to still flex and move my foot forward and back. I don't want the skate to be completely so tight that I have no flexibility. So the more flexibility that you create, the more comfortable your skating will be. Now that I have one skate on as I'm sitting down, I'm taking my other skate and I'm going to go ahead and put that on as well, holding on to the liner and the cuff, and I'm going to pull my foot in there, bang it on the ground a little bit, make sure it's nice and snugged in there. Go ahead and tie the laces. All right, and then the buckle. Getting that into the teeth, pushing it down, clamping it in, checking to see if the liners are pretty good. I got a good flex. I can move my feet forward and back, side to side. Feels pretty good. Okay, so now when you're at this stage, now what do? How do you get up? So for the beginner, one of the best ways to get up is that you're going to take your skates and you're going to roll yourself over to your knees. Okay? If you're on a mat or grass or somewhere that is not rolling, that is the #1 most important thing. Try to do this somewhere where you're not going to be worried about rolling. Now we're going to talk more about your weight and how your weight has a lot to do with the skates moving. The skates don't skate you, you skate the skates. Remember that. So as you are in this knee position, take either your left or right leg, whichever leg is the most dominant for you, the most strongest leg. And what you're going to do is take your weight and you're going to shift that weight over to get that knee or that leg that you want to put and put it directly in front. You're not putting your foot facing this way, you're not facing your foot this direction. You're trying to keep your foot exactly straight, so all your weight is centered. Now, as I feel comfortable getting my leg right here, this is a really big part. If you're comfortable with getting your leg in front of you, your knees pretty much level with your chin, and what you're going to do, you're going to take your left leg or your right leg, whichever leg that you decide to use, and you're going to place one hand on the knee, and you're going to take the other hand and place it on the knee as well. And what you're going to do, you're putting all your weight and energy into that leg. So when you start coming up to push up, you have to also use that knee as well too to get yourself up off the ground. If you need to use a hand too to kind of get it started and then use the knee, that is okay as well. So what you're going to do, you're going to put all your weight onto that knee and you're going to slowly start pushing yourself up. Once this knee comes off the ground, your opposite knee comes off the ground, what you're going to do is a technique that you're going to use with your skate to help your foot meet up to the other skate. So if you notice right now, one skate's in front, my other skate's behind me where it's on my back. So what I'm going to do, as soon as my knee comes off the ground, I'm going to use my front wheel on that right leg on my knee and roll it towards the foot that's already up. So what happens is I'm going to only use my strength for just a second, that I'm going to be able to use my wheel and roll that foot right here. And all my weight transfers to being centered again. So I'm going to show you that one more time going back down. So I'm going to put all my weight down on this foot. I'm using my wheel to roll my foot back and get my knee back down onto the ground. So as you're putting all that pressure here, you're pushing yourself up. And as soon as you start pushing yourself up, you can start rolling that wheel right to the opposite foot. Now, that is a great technique to practice. You can do it both ways. You can also be able to see how long that you can hold yourself up. So you're trying to make sure that you can put all that body weight there. If you feel comfortable doing that, then try to do it the opposite way. This is also a really good stretch. So you're going to be able to do 2 things at once. You're able to focus on being able to get your body weight, learning about, we're going to talk about a lot about the weight transfers. As you start pushing yourself up, rolling yourself up. Do the opposite, going back down and rolling and pushing yourself back up. Now the more that you're able to do that, that will help you start getting comfortable finding your balance on your skates. Okay, so that is how you put your skates on and get up from sitting down and from already standing up putting your skates on. Or before you go on to the next videos, make sure that you have this down. It's all about the fundamentals. If you can get your balance down and understand your weight, remember, everybody has their own different weight. Everyone has their own balance points. So you have to be very in tune with what you're doing, and this is a great way to build that. Okay, that's for homework. Make sure you get this down first. Try to do 5 on one side and then 5 on the next side. If you do 1 and it doesn't count, you're all squirmy and all over the place, that means that one doesn't count. You want to make sure that you get it down to where you feel solid. You can do it every time without being all over the place. That will let you know exactly where you are with your skating.